Hey y'all, I just wanted to talk about applying to shows and sort of calls for entry. So you'll have access to this um, call for entry page. This is just a list of several places that I find shows. I check MN Artist at least monthly, if not weekly. NIFA, which is this first one on the list, so it's the New York Fine Art Association. There's other places like Call for Entry, Submittable. Residency Unlimited has a bunch of residencies you can apply for that sort of talk through some. There's this link for the residency master list, which is really fantastic. This is something that another artist put together, and it really is. It's just about every sort of artist opportunity and residency list. You'll have to just go look at it in there. And it breaks things down by country and sort of they have more information about it. It's just really fantastic. I highly recommend that you download it. And just, I don't know how long that's going to be there because someone else is the owner of that. Other places you can look for Art Show, Art Guild. I use these ones at the bottom less often. It's really Call for Entry, MN Artist, NIFA, Submittable. And honestly, I follow the galleries that I like on Instagram and Facebook, and they will post open calls, and I apply to those. You can follow hashtags like call for entry or calls for artists. It seems really weird and silly, but a lot of the sort of really good shows that I've gotten into have come from that. Something that we'll also be talking about is a social media presence, which has been really important to my work for the last few years. That's just the very first thing that galleries are doing now when they find an artist they like. They go to their Instagram because they know that people are more likely to keep those updated instead of the website, where it's a little more labor intensive to keep your website updated, where they're really going to Instagram first. So if you don't already have an artist Instagram, make one, keep it professional, have good images, be really intentional about the way in which you use that. The other thing that I want to show everyone is how I manage all of my applications. So this is everything that I have applied to from March 25th to October 10th. It's a lot of things. So the way that it's color coded. So red are things that I didn't get into, green are things that I did, orange, there's like a weird thing, and then gray, I haven't heard back. So here at the bottom, you can see these are all the things that are grayed out, which I'm still waiting to respond from them. So I do this for a few reasons. Here I keep a list of everything that I plan on applying to. It has the date that it's due, the title, the application fees. The nasty thing that you're going to find out is most shows have application fees. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on application fees this year. It can get really, really expensive. It's something to be aware of. You can sometimes email and ask for sort of some grace on that and see if they'll waive the application fee, but often they won't. It's just the sort of nasty part of the art world. Here I have links of where to actually apply for the show, how to apply, where it is geographically, if they've said that there'll be a notification, and these are sort of things that I put in when I'm trying to figure out. It's sort of the notification install drop off because I'm applying to several shows at once. That way I'm not applying with all the same work if I get in. And then just a little bit more information here at the end. Oops. I highly recommend that you do this. Really stay on top of things. Unfortunately, being an artist is not always fun, and being in the studio, it is a lot of this work on the back end. For every single one of these calls that I've applied to, they required an artist statement, they required a CV, they often required a bio. So having all of that on deck, having sort of a folder of the work that you know you can apply with and sort of that's been working well. The other thing I want to point out is I had a good year. I've had quite a few shows, And I just want you to see how many things I didn't get into. I do this every year and roll it over. I I highly recommend that you sort of take yourself and your studio practice seriously and start to engage in some of these same behaviors. Um, Having a form like this really works for me. Maybe you do okay if things are just sort of written down in your notebook. But the important thing to remember is that it takes a really long time in your career before you get to a place where people are going to start inviting you to shows. And there's maybe half of the things that I've done this year were invitational, which is fantastic and it's amazing. But you're not going to get that the first 5 years out of school unless you have a friend who's a curator, and you'll maybe get curated into one show once a year if you're lucky. If you want to be showing work, if you want to be exhibiting, if you want to be doing residencies, and if you want people to be paying you and getting grants, you have to apply. You have to do it. If you don't apply to shows, starting like right now, today, and continue as you graduate, you're never going to show work. It takes legwork. That's why I like the Instagram thing. It's a little passive. I'm waiting, you're waiting in line at the store. You can scroll through and find things and email them to yourself and add them on the list. But it's being really active, and it's not taking times off, and it's investing in yourself and in your studio practice and sort of taking yourself seriously. So this is just a little bit what it looks like of applying to shows, sort of the way that I organize the sort of office admin end of my studio practice. This works for me. I bet it would probably work for you. If you have a better system, go for it. Start checking things frequently. Start applying to shows right now. And just be really planful and intentional with your time.